the sun is gonna do what she does and we're gonna let her, okay? Beautiful, thank you. She's warm, it's so cold here, guys. I hate cold weather. Please tell me places to move that don't have cold weather because it's too much. Hello and welcome to my mid-year book freakout tag. Is that what it's called? I think so. Sure. We're halfway through the year now, so I feel like it's time to discuss the books that we've read. I don't know. I just think it's fun. I've seen a few people do this and I think it's so fun. I think the questions are so fun. And I love talking about books. So let's get into it. First question, best book of the year and also best sequel so far. I'm combining these two questions because it's the same. I'm sure you could all guess. I'm sure everyone could guess. Place your bets down below. Ready? Angel of India. Yeah. And it is Angel. Yeah. Will I ever make a video where I don't talk about Stephen Graham Jones? It has yet to be seen, actually. I love this book. I can't tell you anything about it because it's the final book in a trilogy, but basically the premise of these three books is that we're following Jade Daniels. She lives in a small town in Idaho and she believes that a slasher has come to town. Is it true? Is it not? Who can never be sure? I love these books so much. I love everyone in these books. I love the way they're written. I love all of the movies that are referenced because they talk about slashers. She's obsessed with slashers and you are in her mind. So all you hear are slasher references. And I'm just like, this is exactly how my brain works. So shout out to my mom for relentlessly recommending me My Heart is a Chainsaw for like 2-3 years, a good 2-3 years before I actually read it. Thanks, shout out to her, truly. Next question, are there any new releases you haven't read yet? I've actually been pretty good on keeping up with my list of like new releases. So the only one I haven't finished reading is Horror Story by Paul Tremblay, but I did start it and I'm like halfway through it and I'm eating it up, y'all. It's delicious. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I don't think I've rated anything that I've read by Paul Tremblay lower than like a 4.5. Yeah, I don't think there's anything by him that I've read so far that I didn't absolutely enjoy. So I'm having a good time with that one. Hopefully I'll finish it in the next couple days. I don't know, but so far at the halfway mark, she's good. She's good to me. I love her. Okay, are there any anticipated releases for the second half of the year for you? Yes. Hopefully the second half goes better for anticipated releases, but I already have pre-ordered I Was a Teenage Slasher, so that should come here. It should come here and it should come on time this time, unlike the other book. Also, Clown to Cornfield 3 comes out in August. Very excited about that. Ugh. I know a lot of people didn't like the second book. I loved it. My mom was like, there's too much going on, but I was eating it up. And the covers, Church of Friend, like he is so funny. I'm so excited. Oh, I can't do it. Yo, I'm just really excited about this one. Some other ones, How to Make a Horror Movie and Survive. I think that one comes out I don't know when that comes out, but I have a hold on it. So whenever it comes out, I'm first in line. Yes. Also, The Blonde Dies First. I don't know. That one I think comes out, I have no idea, sometime. And then Craft, which I also have on hold and am first in line for. So when that comes out, straight to me. Hopefully these aren't disappointments because I had a couple disappointments in the first half. We'll get to those. Actually right now, biggest disappointments. I don't want to get too into it because I did just go off on these books when I read them last month in my May wrap up. The House That Horror Built by Christina Henry. I don't think I'm gonna be reading from Christina Henry again. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think she's for me, but it did hurt. And Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. No. Every time I accidentally read a thriller, it solidifies my dislike of thrillers. And this one really nailed it. I am now actually gonna be checking the tags of books to see if they're horror or thriller, because the title and the cover indicate to me that it's a horror, but it wasn't. I don't want to talk about it. I've already talked about it. You can go watch the video if you want to hear me talk about it, but it hurts. Biggest surprises though. My biggest surprises. I have a few. First of all, Whale Fall. This book, when I tell you I read this in January and not a week has gone by that I haven't thought about it since then, It's actually insane. He gets swallowed by a whale, and it's accurate to what would happen to someone if you got swallowed by a whale. I love when people combine like real facts with fiction. It's just so fun. That's why I love science fiction. It's so fun. Speaking of science fiction, Solaris? Nobody told me the premise of Solaris. If you don't know, this is about a planet whose ocean is alive. Yep. The ocean is sentient. The ocean is sentient, and it does some things to people while they're on the planet. It does some crazy, wacky, goofy things to people. It's just so good. I recently watched the Andrei Tarkovsky movie, his version of Solaris, the original Solaris from like '76, I think. Just as good, man. If you like the book, you will like the movie. I'm gonna watch the George Clooney one, I think, this week to compare the two. Well, to compare the three. But the book, I made my mom find and buy a copy of it so that I could have it physically. Also, The 50-Year Sword by Mark Z. Danilewski. This one was a surprise to me because I've seen people talk about it compared to House of Leaves, which we already know. I'm a House of Leaves stan. And they talked about like how cheesy this was in comparison, or how just like dumb it is. But I loved it. If anyone knows where they're doing a live play of this year, I want to see this performed live so bad, guys. You don't understand. It's a need that I have. Just let me know. And then my last one is actually Fig for All the Devil. This is a book that I have had on my wish list on Libby since I downloaded Libby, like 4 or 5 years. And I finally said, you know what? Just read the book. What is the plot of this book? A kid befriends death in exchange for him becoming death when he dies. He's basically getting trained by death to replace him so that he can retire. It's just so like wacky and fun, but like there's also this like overarching theme of grief because the kid's parent dies, and that's why he can see death in the first place. They become friends, but also it was just so fun and funny, and she lives in here. C.S. Fritz, man. C.S. Fritz, my guy. I'm here. Fave new author. New to you or debut author. Guys, some of you may know I'm in my romance era. So I have to say, Miss Talia Hibbert, girl, she's getting me through. I will sooner rather than later be reading the final book in the Ravenswood trilogy so that I can then start on the Brown Sisters trilogy. But y'all, I just want to talk. I have a couple of questions for you, girl. I really do. And I won't be coming to you without proof, girl, but I have questions. I have some questions. That's between me and Talia, though. Y'all don't need to, that's between me and her. It's just such a fun time. I'm having so much fun with her. Okay, fictional crush. I see this question, right? And I see people answer it, and nobody ever has fictional crushes for the books, right? I don't get fictional book crushes either. But then I don't get like fictional crushes on like television or movie characters either. I think the last fictional character crush I had on anyone in media, I genuinely think that it was Oliver from Smallville. I was like 9. Actually, that's a lie. The last fictional, I can remember it actually. The last fictional character I've ever had a crush on actually is the guy from Unnatural History. This was my last actual crush that I've ever had on someone, and this show came out in 2010, so I was 10. The last fictional crush I've ever had, I was 10 years old. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, fave new character though. It's definitely Charlie from Inherit the Stars. I just recently finished this book like 2 days ago, I think. I love Charlie. He's even on the back. I love him. This book, it's set in 2028, I think, where man is like on the moon, obvious, but they're more like exploring the far side of the moon, and on the far side they find a little dead astronaut guy, and nobody knows who he is or how he got there. He's not in anyone's database or whatever. So they go and they study the body, and they find out he's been dead for over 50,000 years. How is that possible? Oh, it's possible, and it's discussed. It's discussed in this questions are asked and answered, thoughts are pondered, there's giants. This is like an 8-book series. I loved it, I ate it up, it was beautiful. I love Charlie. Charlie has my heart. He's He's just a little dead guy. Book that made you cry. Now, you know, of course, bawled my eyes out, absolutely destroyed me. But also, upon reread, like, A Kind of Spark is just like a warm hug to the autistic community. I love Elle McNichol. I'm fighting so hard to find a copy of Kitty because I love Addie, right? Addie is amazing. I love her. You know, she's perfect. She's beautiful. She's just everything that I want the world to be, right? But her older sister Kitty didn't get the same upbringing as her of like understanding for autism from their parents. Like, she really had to set the bar. I want to read her story. I want to know, because the anger that Kitty feels is like the anger that I feel. We don't need to talk about it. I bawled my eyes out. If anyone knows where I can get a copy of Kitty in New Zealand, please let me know, because I want it so bad, so bad. I love them all. Oh my god. Oh my god. The last book that I don't even have it in me to be embarrassed about this. I bawled my eyes out reading The Last Ronin. Oh my god, of course. I didn't even do that on purpose. If you know me, if you've talked to me in person for more than 10 minutes, the Ninja Turtles have come up. I love the Ninja Turtles. And my favorite turtle happens to be The Last Ronin, which is great because I think he deserves more love. I really do, especially from the creators. I don't want to get into it because I cry thinking about the Ninja Turtles in general. So thinking about this book specifically will ruin me. This is an alternate universe where all of the turtles die except for one, and he becomes the last Ronin and basically avenges the death of his brothers. I love them. My little black boys from Brooklyn. Books that made me happy. I mean, all of the books that made me cry also made me very happy, but books that gave me unbridled joy. Kill River by Cameron Robique. That's what we're gonna go. Sorry, Cameron. This book gave me such unbridled joy, which is a little scary because it is a slasher, but it's a water park slasher. And it gave me so much joy that I actually bought the second book, and the third one is in the mail. It's literally just a book set in the 80s, and you follow Sydney as she goes to summer camp, where she's, you know, the girl who doesn't really talk to people. She's shy, she's bad at making friends, but this group of 3 kind of take her in under their wing, and they decide, we hate summer camp too. Let's all run away. If we follow the river, eventually it'll lead us to the road, and then we can just hitchhike our way home, and then maybe our parents will actually take us seriously about not wanting to be here. However, the river diverges, and they take the wrong path, and they end up at an abandoned amusement park where they're being stalked by a crazed, masked killer. Perhaps, I don't know, the ghost of the abandoned amusement park? Who can never be sure? I love it. It's so it's so cheesy, it's so gory, it's so fun, and it made me so happy. What does that say about me? We don't need to get into that. We're not going to talk about it. I will be starting the second one post haste, probably after I finish filming this, honestly. My most pretty purchase though. I have not bought very many books this year. That's not due to lack of wanting books. That's due to me not realizing that when you move to the middle of nowhere, you're really in the middle of nowhere. Hey, that's what I wanted. Anyway, have not bought that many books this year. My prettiest purchase though, I don't think this would have been beat even if I did buy more than like the 5 books that I've bought this year. One thing, you're telling me that can be topped? I can never top that. There's not a purchase I could make that would top that. And I don't want it topped because I think those are the prettiest books ever, which is a good thing that I really liked it. Because if I hated the book, I would have to keep it and know that it sucks, but I think those books are just as fun, if not even more fun than the covers. So I'm excited to collect the rest of the series because they're all just as nice. And then the last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I mean, of course, basically everything that I own on my shelves, but for this year specifically, I'm just under halfway through my 24 and 24, so I'm pretty on track. But now's the time where we really gotta grind it out, because all I really have left on this list is like sci-fi and Stephen King. And I'm kind of in my Stephen King rut, y'all. Like, I'm listening to Christine and I'm like halfway through. I don't care about this card. I do not care about this card. This is a book for boys. It has to. It's such a guy book. I also found out that this was like, I don't know. Maybe the books get better when he stops doing drugs, because I'm like right in the center of his addiction writing. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe he'll stop using the N-word. I honestly might DNF it at this point. I also thought I watched the movie, but I was looking at pictures and I guess maybe I actually haven't watched the whole movie. So I actually maybe don't even know where this is gonna go. Do I want to watch the movie? No. And I don't care about the book, but I'm gonna finish it. I've only checked it out like 5 times. I'm just gonna run down the 13 books I have left on my 24 and 25. I have I Was a Teenage Slasher, Rendezvous with Rama, Hyperion, 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is what I'm gonna be starting today, Foundation, The Starless Sea, Speaker for the Dead, It, The Tommyknockers, Watership Down, Frankenstein, Clown to Cornfield 3, Sabriel. Fingers crossed it gets done. If you have books to recommend me, let me know. Do not give me romance recommendations, please. Please. Anything else, literally any other genre, give me recommendations, please. Okay, bye.